Someone asked me if you have to use a personal guarantee for corporate credit. And that is a great question. The answer to that question is yes, because anybody selling you no PG or selling you business trade lines or anything that is no PG is cannibalistic, and it's going to do nothing but send your corporation backwards. And the only type of no PGs we're talking is bank statement, monthly cash flow, credited approvals that give you the daily pay, the ACH, which is daily pay or weekly pay, but you're talking on a short-term loan. Maybe some of them maybe extend out to 1 year, 1.5 years, but you're talking 35% interest daily. So they make a lot of money off these, and they sell you that, or business owner that, and or you get one, and then the business owner gets 3 or 4 or 5, and then your cash flow is really diminished because it's coming out daily. And the minute you miss one payment on one of those loans, it freezes up all your assets, your bank account, and everything, and then all 5 of them trickle down. And by violating the low cash flow and being in default of the loan, it automatically becomes already violation of the terms of service, and you already agreed to it in all the contracts, and it now becomes personally guaranteed anyways. So then they put liens on your cars, your house, everything you had, and everything that you will have. So it's worse than PGing when it's supposedly no PG. So that's technically no PG. But the other problem is everybody on the internet that says, hey, no PG, this, that. Don't PG your personal with your corporation. Always separate them. These morons that they're going to copy off this because they copy off every single thing else. And I've been around for over 20 some years, and these idiots just show up in the last 5 years, and they start out with their little niche of, well, first is credit, maybe how to build business credit the wrong way or whatever. Then they ended up in trying to say they get funding because they want to copy off my channel and everything. But the point is, all these morons don't know anything about funding, don't know anything about nothing. So when they say, separate your business from your personal, make sure you do, that's the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in the world, because it's so stupid. It's so dumb because, like I said before, you could have 50 corporations bankrupt on 49 and still have the 50th one making all the money. When you PG, if they sell a no PG, then they're just lying to you, say so they can sell you business trade lines, or they can sell you a corporation early ahead of time, or they can sell you on their program to build your corporation. Do this and we'll monitor your credit, and I'll give you this special monitoring that has how you monitor all your new trade lines on your corporation monthly, and it's a service. You pay like so much a month for them, and we call it fundability, so we can get you into funding when it's all no PG. And the only funding they get is baby credit cards, or they say, okay, go here, go there, and the file's all set up, jacked up, and they don't even know what they're talking about. So they're sending people, like blind people, down a path of cliffs and daggers and stuff, and nobody even knows the difference because they got the great monitoring device and this stuff that looks so good and it's fascinating, and they're listening to a bunch of people that have no idea about real funding, real money. And if they get credit cards, it's baby stuff and little chunks of crap, and the corporation's going backwards. None of them, they don't get any money. They don't even get any money. They have no money. It's pretty hilarious. Or PG, and it's all wrong. So the no PG build and everything they say, this key term and how to get you in it is saying it ahead of time early, so you don't have to go to credit repair, and you can just go to buying their fake stolen corporation. That's what this all boils down to. Amway networking scam, Scamway, scam corporations. So they will tell you whatever you want to hear to get you to buy the corporation. Once you buy the corporation and you build it all wrong, you're not getting any funding. And the funding you would get on it, on no PG, would be Well, there's only the fake business trade lines, which 99% of the time never show up. And if they do show up, they're all generic and they're not going to post. So when they don't post, you get ripped off. But when they do post, they're generic, and every underwriter in the world knows it is a generic scam trade line. Business underwriters are some of the smartest underwriters in the whole financial industry, because they've seen every business on the big scale doing, millions and millions of dollars a year. A lot of them see publicly traded ones, and they see the best private ones. But they are the smartest of the smart, because the banks invest all their money in training and getting them to see tons of businesses, and they make so much money lending money. But they put the key people, like the brain surgeons for the financial world, as the bank business underwriters. These guys are not dumb. Everybody on their net teaching about corporate credit, agedcorp, they are the dumbest fuckers on the planet. These morons couldn't make it as a drug dealer, or they made just enough as a drug dealer to say they can't make it as a drug dealer and stay a drug dealer, because they're just idiots. So they're going to say, oh, well, hey, this looks like an easy racket. I'm going to go in, and I say racket because that's what they do. Combine all their people together and make a coordinated group of liars and tons of websites to produce bullshit stuff that doesn't get money, to brainwash the public to say, hey, you got to buy a corp and make sure you mix NOPG with your personal and all this other stuff. Well, you can personally protect yourself with trust and other things like that. So it doesn't have to do with that aspect. It just has to do with the aspect of them telling you all this stuff. Most of them, I would say, know what they're doing, and the other ones that don't know what they're doing are just too stupid to even know what this real game is. But their game is to make money. None of these morons, none of them, not one person out there makes real money off the funding. There is Victor Financial's been around a long time, and they did credit card funding forever, and that's all they really do. They'll blast your credit to death, like 500 inquiries, and maybe get you a $5,000 credit card. Well, they've gotten into the fact that since I've been around so long, that they will try and do they can't do real funding. They go to credit cards, and they take 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and that's what these guys do. So everybody copies and wants to say they get real business money. Nobody gets business money. And even corporate giant and all these other Wilshire and all these other big corporate funding things that have, $50, $60, $70, $100,000 corporations that have all this built on and all this bullshit, dude, they don't get any money. Business Credit Suite, these guys, that's mainly who I was talking about. Like I said in a past video, they charge this guy like $200,000, a millionaire, and say that they get a business credit. And they call me up wanting me to give them funding, not just a total money. Good luck, because I'm not into like ripping people off and scamming them and doing all that stuff. And you're on your own. I'm hoping he doesn't get mad and just kill you guys for ripping them off. And they took all the money and didn't know how to get me funding. So now they make all this money, and they make an elaborate website with all this stuff and tell you all the wrong info. So when I say no PG, I mean, yeah, you got to personally guarantee it. So if you have bad credit, you want to get the credit fixed first. And all these people are saying how to fix your credit, do this and do that, and all these things, eOscar, eMetro, and all this new information on credit repair. Hey, come over here. Oh, our credit repair is super cheap. Mine's not even that expensive, but they say all these things so you get into their credit repair program, and they don't care if it works. They just care if you buy the corporation. So they'll say all this free info just to attract views and get clicks and everything like that. But reality is, when you're talking about making real money and corporations and businesses and things, is why I'm different, is because if I get your personal credit set up right and the business set up right, I'm the only one that even has a term. I'm the only one that even does this. Is that the key thing? One of the key things. There's a lot of key things, but is the maximum funding ratio. Like I've said this before, Everywhere you got to go, you got to get the maximum amount. And I don't care. I've done funding for other companies in the past, just to, 20 people a week for a while, and I funded them years back. And even then, and other people, they can't copy me. They can't get it. It's not a copyable thing. Because every file is different. And even personal people say, well, sometimes I'll get them like $1 million, and then they disappear, and they're like, oh, I think I can do this because you got $1 million. We went here and there, and all this, I know how to do it. And every scenario, each time, people always come back because every file is different. Every place is different. Every path is different. Everything is like walking through a minefield. You have to have experience in knowing the path and knowing how things change and how things don't change. I just been on the inside of the funding industry in the underwriting side, and even on a larger perspective on the banking side and things. And so I know the changes, and I know how things fit together, and I know how things change to prevent people from getting money, and how things are made to where they want to keep, the system, the industry is to keep the normal people at the bottom. So it's like you hire the absolute best attorney, the best surgeon, or whatever. You want to have somebody that's on the cutting edge and on the edge of all of this all the time, because it always changes constantly. And you have to have somebody that has that knowledge so you can keep building and grow exponentially. So when I say maximum funding ratio, I'm saying that from every step of the way and no mistakes. So that means personal, if it's good enough to go straight into corporate credit, then we keep launching. But each move has to be maximum credit for that point in time with no declines at the maximum amount of funding, and the right amount of funding and the right type of funding. And then the next round, same thing. When all this is done systematically on every level, it grows exponentially. That's why I could take a corporation or I could take a personal file, and if the personal file is 1 to 400,000 the first round, then I'm gonna get even more and more. And same with the corporation, it's growing exponentially. If I have a key client and they make the right moves and they're smart enough and they can do it, it'll literally grow exponentially every 3 months. I normally keep them on pace to do, 6 months worst case scenario, because I want to make sure they make the payments. Why I'm different is because everybody else out there is telling you how to steal the money, how to fake it, and just to rip you off and sell their bullshit products. None of them have money. None of those people have made any money off real business or real corporate funding. Not one single person out there. Everybody you see that has any bling or has any of their cars or any of that stuff is not from corporation, not from a real business money. It's from other stuff. They've got the money. Most likely they selling drugs by the way they talk and the way they look. And every bank underwriter sees that and knows that. So they're already losing it. They're losing the game at point level 1 on that aspect, not to mention a whole bunch of other aspects as well. Some people say, well, it looks like you're racist. You said Ebonics and shit. Well, dude, it doesn't matter. Ebonics, my speech isn't perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I'm saying Ebonics, if you're white or black and you're going to speak that way when you're trying to get, serious level of credibility and financing, you're not getting anywhere. I don't care. And this is not a record label industry where we're trying to go get, record money. This is the banking, financial world and industry. So on top of all that, that's just the basic first grade level. On top of all that, we're talking about when you're doing this, you're going to have you want to hire somebody like me is like a real advisor that can get you from point A to point B. And I'm talking about if I'm guiding you down the path, I'm getting you your business real money and how to make real money and what makes real money and how I can incorporate that and make everything fit together. All these other people not showing you how to make real money because they can't make real money. Their idea of making real money is like stuff that's like 30 years old propaganda. Like, oh, we're going to wholesale commercial real estate, which they can't do because they don't know anything about commercial real estate. Or they'll do like the Airbnb bullshit story that's oversaturated. And those don't even make money. And a lot of people bought them, and tons of those people are trying to get out of them because there's too many of them and they can't rent them. All these, I would start with collaborating with me, and I help you get from point A to point B, and we get a long-term relationship, whether I got to prove myself on one small aspect of it, credit repair or wherever, and then grow, and then I teach you how to get the key people and make your business grow and get results and get cash. When you have cash, like they say, cash is king, cash is everything. You can make so much money with cash because nobody in this environment right now normally has any cash, and they're buying stupid things like cars and all these things, financing all these consumer goods and going broke and not making any money. They're making the wrong moves, not making bank where you should be making the right moves. So that all in a nutshell is really adding up to the whole scenario of why you want to PG your corporation. Now, a whole nother story, which I'll go into later after on if you're a client, how to protect yourself from being sued and all these other things like that. That's a whole nother story. But this aspect of it doesn't deviate and has to be spot on to get the funding and all that other stuff. And if you set things up right, you won't be in that position anyways. But there's ways to fix that as well. But no matter what, this aspect, getting real business loans, business credit lines, real funding has to be PG always. So if you have bad credit, I can get you credit fixed, and or you want to have a PG person, a relative, girlfriend, wife, somebody with good credit. We start with that. And another key thing is a lot of people like getting a lot of money. If you start succeeding, you want to buy a house. So if you're going to buy a house, you won't be able to get funding until 3 years later. So if you're buying the house, you're going to put it in your wife's name or your name, one of them, whoever you're going to want to have assist or whatever. And we're going to focus on you for the corporate credit and all that stuff. And then they have the liability stuff like the house that would set back the funding later. So new houses, you can't get personal funding for 2 years, I've seen up to 3 years. And corporate funding after buying a house is declines as well. So maybe only out for a year, but it's a bad move. It's not going to benefit business funding at all. So that's another thing. Anyhow, if you want to get cash, you want to learn how to build your wealth and create real wealth and get into the next level and actually not have to worry about making the wrong moves and wasting money, then you should give me a call. So yes, you got a PG thing. Anyhow, thanks for the question, and I hope that helped out everybody on the answer. So my number is, wherever you want to start out with, you can give me a call and we'll go over it. My number is 312-473-4163. Yeah, so when you call me, I'm going to send you a text. If you're real, you're going to tell me what you're interested in. I'll send you information on it. Then you want to do the phone call, we'll do the phone call. But I don't just pick up the phone all the time because I got like 20 to 50 calls a day of spam all day long. and or fake clients that are actually competitors trying to play me and snoop for information. So I don't waste time on people snooping or fishing for info. If you're a real client, I'll text you all the information you need, proofs and everything like that. And then you want to do a phone call and we build a relationship, or you want to hire me and we start, and then we talk on the phone, you hire me so I can coach you and teach you and advise you on the right moves and get you from point A to B. And I only make money on your success on the funding and closing commercial real estate. I don't make money on all these other, I don't make money on credit repair. I lose money on it, but I do it because I can build a long-term relationship and go from there. So that's why my success fee is only 5%, because I get so much money. It's plenty, and then I can get you into other things, or I can get your business on another level, and or help you buy other businesses and get into that too. So anyhow, all right, again, my number is 312-473-4163. Thanks.